All right, so why don't we begin with attendance? Alice Terry.
Here.
Elaine Breslow. Present. Mary Lou Lawrence. Here. Catherine Harvey is here. Brooke Jewell. Here. Carolyn Coffey here.
Steve
Sarah
Mann
Pease here.
raised his hand.
And we are missing Megan Frenzy and Steve.
How do I, well, hold on here. Steve is raising his hand.
Oh, he's gonna take.
He's saying here.
Yeah, but how do I, oh, he's saying here.
Oh,
But how do I, I'm not sure why it's not letting me promote him. Can you connect me
Connect me on
online?
Maybe not.
I'm not sure.
Oh, Megan. has to do it.
Attendee
Oh, you're Megan.
allowed to talk.
Yes.
I thought I wanted to put him, promote to panelist. There we go. And then he has to accept it. Okay. But I don't know why you can't see him. Oh,
There he
there
is.
he comes.
There he is.
Or there's, there he is. Yay.
All right.
Great.
Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Any comments, questions, feedback?
I had one thing on the pavilion, but now I don't remember what it was. Is it what happened?
Oh, here it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't take notes.
So this is Angela's first stab at, and I thought she did a great job.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So worried about it. I should be seated. No,
You're hired.
Job one. I just wanted to clarify, the endowment would provide for a one-time only get $100,000, it's up to.
Oh, up to.
Okay.
Up to.
That's, yeah, that's good to
And
clarify.
if needed,
Yeah.
if needed, the principle of the endowment will be the funding source of last resort.
Right.
Okay.
Great.
It's, do I hear a motion to approve the amendments?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? All right,
Great.
Robin, take it away.
Okay. I had a long report because it just kept adding things. It was a really busy month, but I'll go as quickly as I can. We've had, yeah, a lot going on. First part I wanted to talk about was, we're going, thankfully, finally, to email receipts for everyone, checking out books. It's fantastic. I'm so excited. So, Ashley's working to prepare the staff for what that's going to mean, and I think it's going to go live May 22nd is what they're hoping for. So people can still request a receipt, but it won't be the default. It will just email whatever you've checked out straight to your email. You can also have it set to email not just what you're checking out right now, but everything that you have out on your account. So it can send you that way too, as an option. And it's going to take a little bit of time, I think, to get it fully functional because people are, their emails have been changed or are incorrect, or they don't have one on their account. So the staff is going to have to, and so it pops up with a pop-up and it says, check the email, or there's no email on this account, you want to add one, and then they'll have to actually do it. But eventually we'll have much more accurate database, and we'll have more name addresses to send our marketing to and all of that. So really excited. Yeah.
I love
I
that.
haven't checked out.
I know,
I know, it's true. Yeah, even my husband knows how to do it, so that tells you that it's pretty user friendly. So and then the other thing is we're looking at adding a language learning option, which we've had Mango languages before. Jen said she's had a number of people asking about it, about having that available. I'm drawing a blank now. Then we switched from Mango to what was the other one? I forgot now. But this is,
we were only getting like one or two people.
yeah, it was less.
It was
Yeah,
pretty
Pronunciator
expensive.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, this is going to be far cheaper because it's going to be split between all the participating network libraries. So I think they were saying at the most something like $300 at the most a year, which is
Right.
not bad compared to what I think it was more than $1,000.
There's no way you can
find out what language people are studying. So,
I
here,
don't,
from this.
I don't know that. I will know more once we actually sign up and get involved in it. I'm sure you could find out probably what's the most popular languages people are looking at. I'm sure we probably couldn't find out who was looking at,
No, but.
you know, Spanish or French or something.
People from Calcasieu, you know, taking Russian or something. I'm just thinking it could lead to some programming, you know. with
Yeah, that's
some
interesting.
Russian-
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
Russian here in town might want to do, you know, conversation over coffee with people who are studying.
I know that there are groups. Like, we used to have a group of women that came in and used
Yes.
the study room. I think they were doing Spanish, but I
Yes.
think it was Spanish, or was it Italian?
No, it wasn't Italian.
I think it was Spanish.
No, maybe.
And they would come and they'd be in the study room. It was about 6 of them, and they would just speak Spanish. And it was just a conversational kind of thing. It wasn't,
I
you know.
love that you're thinking it may be helpful with the passport program.
Yeah,
because, I mean,
absolutely.
you could do like travel poster kind of things, and
Yep.
you know, we
Yeah.
have mango or whatever.
Yeah,
just-
and we have the travel books, and
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of different
so
ways to connect all the dots,
Mhm.
basically. So yeah, we're excited about that. So
Next thing you'll be booking flights.
Oh my
wow, travel agents. Wow. As long as we can go along on the trips. And then I just wanted to highlight some of our programming. Everybody's just so creative and excited about things right now. It's really been fun. I hadn't even known about too much about this until Jen had the baker from Fratelli's who came over, and she's going to do a cake decorating, and then Jen has cupcakes and people can try it out themselves, and I think it's going to be great. It's going to be really fun.
And eat the cupcakes.
And they can take them home. Yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be really fun.
Nighttime or Saturday morning?
I think it actually I brought the schedule. Let's see. We do have a nighttime. We have the mini golf is at night. That is at the end of the month. I think that's Friday night. When did she have the cake? Oh, I think it's next week. What are we in?
Something was in June.
That's the Books in Bloom is in June.
Oh.
Yeah, but this cake one is, I thought it was next week. Yeah, right? Didn't she say that? No, I don't see it on here though. Oh, it is Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock. How to cake decorating. Yeah. So she's got some really good ideas coming up, and we're excited about that. Seems to be a lot of food heavy because we have donut day as well. That's the way to get people interested in coming in. And then, well, I will definitely defer to the CLT who wants group representatives who want to talk more about the pavilion and what's going on with that. It's really exciting. We've got larger commitments from a number of groups than we had anticipated, including this music circus just agreed to do 75,000, which is shocking and thrilling. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe they'd settle on 50
Yeah.
because they had done 25 before.
That's where I
And
thought they were gonna-
yeah, and so we thought, well, we'll ask for more and then we'll be happy with what we get. And they agreed to the full amount. It will be split over 3 years, so we may have to work out something where we're fronting the money and then reimbursing. But as long as we know that it's coming, that's a different, you know, than putting the money out there. So
Do they want anything with signage? or-
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they, yeah.
That up, so.
Yeah, I think any of the groups that gave big bucks will get some kind of
I mean, except for
recognition.
CLT, they give us some, you know.
And the reservation.
Yeah,
Yes,
CPC.
that's what I meant. What did I-
Yeah,
I meant
CLT.
I meant CPC.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they've really been so supportive, and
Engaged.
it's wonderful. So we'll have to be sure to recognize them. And then as far as capital budget, we were approved for our computer replacement, which is very excited about that. And we still need to, we're gonna have to come up with funding for the staff computer replacement.
Maybe confused because you had mentioned that those were necessary, and that was
Yes.
sense, and yet it wasn't in
Yes,
the last
But
paragraph.
you thought that.
yeah.
Facility or.
Well,
Ron
when I
Menard's
met
was
with Chris
the-
Senior, he was like, well, you shouldn't have to use your own funds to replace the staff computers. Which I said, yes, I agree with you totally. And so he thought that, that IT should have to come up with a way to fund it. But in the meantime, we're gonna do the patron ones. And then, I think Windows 11 doesn't go into effect until another year. I'm not sure, but we have a little bit of time. But they wanted to be proactive and start the funding process and buying them, getting them all installed and that kind of thing. So we're on our way, and that's really exciting. The systems right now, it's just they freeze, they're old, they need to be updated regardless of the Windows issue. And then the Friends gave $1,000 for the pavilion, so that was,
Very nice.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Very
that was very nice, yes, yeah. They wanted to, we were talking about at the meeting, and it was like they wanted to have, at least be part of all the groups that support the library have given money, and so I think that they wanted to at least participate in some way, so I thought that was really great. Our other issues coming up, the brick outside the building is in very bad condition. It's going to be very expensive to replace. And the facilities thinks they're only going to be able to do one wall at a time. So it's going to take 4 to 5 years to do this.
It's a lot of disruption.
Very disruptive. And I don't know how that's going to be impacting when we do get going on the pavilion. So that's something that's going to have to be discussed. Yeah.
Maybe they'll start with that. They need to do this wall before we.
Do you know, does the pergola attach to the building?
Uh-huh.
It's not freestanding? Okay.
Wouldn't it be better to?
Would it be possible to side it with wood instead of going through the brick?
Technical question, Steve.
Yeah.
They
I
allow
don't know. He said, could you side it with wood instead of brick?
But we're not replacing the brick, they're just repointing it, right?
Well, some of the brick is failing as well. They said it was something like it was supposed to last for 80 years, I want to say, and the building is about 100 years, I think. So they've gotten the life out of it, but it's it's an overwhelming project, really. Is that what they said? That's
Build that YouTube.
yeah, they're gonna take walls down. Let's really go for it. Yeah, yeah. So, well, maybe that's. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. That's a big problem. I'll circle back with them.
Facilities is gonna do it,
We don't have to, we're not gonna have to fund it or anything. Yeah, we don't have,
It would be, it probably would be good to know how much of that side is gone.
yeah,
And where they're gonna be replacing stuff. I like the lanes that I did.
Oh my God, we want to start a new campaign.
Fundraising here.
we can really expand, right? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely concerning. I don't know how disruptive it's going to be. It's really just at the beginning stages. They discovered there was a problem and they had a specialist.
Yeah, what led to the discovery?
Well, if you look in the front, you're coming in the Ripley roadside door, there's up where the clock is, there's sort of a false front kind of thing, and that is kind of twisting.
Oh, that's a problem. That's
Yes.
been going on
So
a
that's
while.
It probably has. I've never noticed it. I always have my head down when I'm coming in. I'm not looking up at the roof. But that's what started out, them looking into it, and then they had brick person come and they took samples all around and discovered that
Is the brick structural or is it just decorative?
I feel like it's just decorative, but I'm not certain. My knowledge of brickwork is
Was that,
very
if you
small.
remember, was any done to shore things up when we?
I don't
did
think
here?
so. I don't think so. But I don't really remember, but I also wonder whether the whole building is the same age.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think this
that
part of
could
the
be.
building is 1880s for some reason. I don't
Okay,
know for sure,
okay.
but.
Yeah, I
I
have
mean, certainly that back part where this,
Mhm.
you know, where the wreck is. and
The
all
west
that,
wing.
the West Wing.
Anyway,
That's newer, you think?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
think
seems
so.
like it would be.
Yeah,
I think so too. So maybe they don't have to, maybe that brick is fine. Again, I've only been, limited, information coming from them because I don't think they know how they're gonna pay for it. I don't think they put anything in this year's budget.
And is it possible, though, to at least raise the question about, I mean, it would look very appropriate in our town if it were appropriately wood-sided. That also gives you more flexibility. Long-term, it would be cheaper if we wanted to, push out the walls and stuff like that.
I'm happy to talk to Nick or Jake about it.
Wonderful.
That's true, you'd have to paint it.
Do they know how much the brick will be? Do they have any like estimate at all? It's like the timing.
I haven't seen any estimates, but I think it's gonna be very expensive. Quite expensive. And I don't know where they're gonna get the money from.
Our pocketbooks.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm laughing.
Stage that project on the brand new patio.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so whatever we can do, obviously.
Yeah.
Try and get them.
Make sure they're
Address
aware
it
of.
beforehand, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'll talk to them this week and just confirm. But I know they're changing something there because this is sort of a segue. We have Pride Month coming up again, and we decided to do something a little bit different, as opposed to the flags that we normally do. And we're gonna do a banner on the wall and put up just one of the flags, the universal flag. And so when I asked them, do you have is it okay with the brick failing if we put a banner on the wall? And they said, you can do whatever you want because we're gonna have to be changing the brick anyway, the mortar, so.
So are they saying all new bricks or they're just going to repair what's
I think,
there?
the way I understand it is the mortar is failing and some of the bricks. So I don't think it's every single brick.
Actually, the mortar that goes way before the brick.
And use a
Yeah.
3-point.
Yeah, well, some I think are crumbling, they said. We've had a lot of water in here for years, a lot of water. In fact, when it was raining earlier, I went to, the story room has leaked for as long as I've worked here. And that's what,
Roof related.
it's roof related, yes, but I don't know if is it coming in the walls? Is it, undermining the brick and the mortar, whatever. I don't know what's causing it, and it's old too, so it could just be, lifespan issue. But, yeah, yeah.
Got that going for us.
Yeah, but I will find out more about the process and what they're looking at and tell him that we have a time. We finally are ready to start.
ready.
I know,
Right.
I know.
Years
Yeah,
into it.
yeah,
Spring meeting, we're supposed to be all voting on.
yeah. And I don't know what the process is. Maybe it is something that you can do in small portions.
Work day for all of us.
Yeah, well, maybe. Never say never.
I'm gonna get Sam over here.
We'll get Sam here. He's really good.
So I will update you all as soon as I know more. But I just wanted to pass that along. And then the other facilities issue, it's actually a good thing they are working on trying to finally get our heat and air conditioning to something that can be adjusted easily. It's just terrible. It's been so bad.
Why does it have to be remote? Why can't you just do it?
The thermostats, well, it's an old system. There's a perimeter heat and then there's an overhead heat. And in my office, with the heat turned off, it still comes out on the perimeter. So it was like 85 in there many days a few weeks ago with the whole thermostat turned off. So one system can be adjusted and the other system, you have to actually just turn the boiler off.
Jackie used to sit in there with me.
Yeah, yeah, because
you
once
have
the
those
boiler, once it's,
Woolen
you know, like
sleeves.
at your house, well, I don't have air conditioning, but most people have, you can have both systems going. And when it's hot on one day, you could turn on your air conditioning. And then if it's a cold day like today, you could turn your heat back on. At least but we can't do, we have to have one or the other. And in spring and fall, you know, it's hot one day, cold the next. And so
You can't open the windows in your office.
I can, and so then we have the heat cranking in my window open. Yeah, it's terrible. I know.
Yes, they boilers go. Oh, with the boilers,
Yeah, the heat's just going straight out the window. So, and then Kristen in the workroom freezes. The heat doesn't really work in her area at all. And so it's just, it's an old building. It's an old system. It doesn't really work very well, but they're hoping that they can get this grant and that they'll have more control over it. We'll see. I hope so. It's really, it's quite uncomfortable a lot of times, but yeah, I remember Jackie did have those knitted fingerless gloves and she was cold.
And I remember.
Yeah, she was cold all the time. Yeah, yeah. She knit them, yeah, exactly.
All the sweaters.
Yeah, and matching, they would match her scarves and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't knit. I haven't knitted in a long time, so I'd rather just have them fix the heat.
Oh, boy.
And then just we had some great accolades from some of our patrons. I wanted to pass those along. And then I just been to a bunch of meetings, really. The Friends and Megan put together a meeting, an HR meeting for all the department heads. That was really pretty interesting about management of staff and how to avoid lawsuits or just being clear of expectations and that kind of thing. So that was really interesting, I thought. And we also are mentioning the meeting we had with Michelle O'Leary, a couple of meetings talking about the bid. So that's going along. And the ARIS report is going to be coming up in another few months. So getting ready for that. And then I had two questions and I've forgotten what they were. I wrote them down. Well, one was, I've kind of been following this formula of the reports based on what, you know, Megan has done or what I did when I was the interim director. Is there anything that you would like me to report on that I'm not reporting on, or something explained in a different way that would be helpful, or questions that you have that okay. Okay. I mean, I'm kind of just giving a snapshot of what's happened in the library for the month, but I'm happy to add something, or, you know.
I thought it was interesting when Michael came in and talked that time.
Okay.
To have many different, not each time we meet, but
Yeah.
every so often, maybe.
Well,
on staff
if
member,
there are
and-
projects and stuff like, I mean, that was for a reason.
Yeah, it was for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like it helps us understand the roles and match the faces to the roles with the
Okay.
library too, which I find helpful.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, a few minutes.
Yeah.
If they're here.
Would it be-
Yeah, especially it'd be easy because there are some staff that, you know, well, they're here. But maybe quarterly or something, you'd have someone come in and talk about what they do and, okay, all right.
Now and then, yeah.
Yeah,
Never.
no, that's great.
Well, which ones are folks in, which garden club? Go have it. The co-pass, not the community one.
And I think so there's also gonna be a flower arranging component to that. I don't know if that's also, yeah, but yeah. I love that when we do that. I always think it just makes the library so bright.
Maybe a convenient. Make a plan.
Ron, would it be possible to perhaps report on what the staff ask patrons for ideas for improvement?
You're asking, oh, for the report that I do? Anything that the patrons have said that they would like to
I think
see?
it's useful if all the staff were to take advantage of the conversations where it's appropriate and just say, just like you it was wonderful. You just said, should I change what I'm doing? Which is great. That's never happened before. And I think that's wonderful. But think about if all the staff were asking, we would be collecting more useful ideas.
Okay, so you're saying not, instead of waiting for a patron to say, I'd like it if you do something this way,
Yeah,
they ask,
yeah,
is is there anything that any suggestions?
yeah. So
Okay.
rather than having some sort of formal survey and things like that,
Sure,
far more useful. And that also activates the staff to realize they can have a big impact on how the library is run.
right.
And would feel, heard and listened to and a part of the team,
Yep.
which they already do now, but
Yeah,
So similar to what Steve is saying. So, I'm just reacting to what's on the page in front of me, what we were just reporting on. So I think the two things that were most inspiring to me, not that I didn't love this conversation with Bricks, but the two things that were most inspiring to me were the programming conversation and kind of what's planned, this idea with like Fratelli's and how this ice cream Sunday program was really cool. And then the comment down here about patron appreciation. I think the glasses was a cool thing, but this former volunteer who had mobility issues but continues to use the library along with his wife, who picked up his holds for him. In his email, he mentioned his retirement years were enriched as a consequence of being a patron, which gets me thinking about, like, I think the challenge or the cool thing about what the library offers is that it's kind of a mashup of the community, right? So you've got these kids who are coming in with their bikes and they're enjoying these cool things that we're doing the Sundays or whatever, or they're doing golf thing. And yet you've got these other folks who are using the library very differently. But are they taking advantage of some of these newer things, right? Because they're using it for what they're used to using it for.
Sure,
but
yeah.
would it be cool to invite someone like this person who is, who may or may not be able to get here, to say, hey, listen, we're going to drop off a cupcake for you from Fratelli's because we're doing this program. Thank you for being a patron. I'm just not. This is just a really bad idea, but it feels like there is an opportunity of youth and
Sure,
the
yeah.
mature audiences and people who utilize the library for one reason,
Yeah.
and for them to kind of exchange ideas. And all these kids are out here with bikes. Wouldn't it be cool to say, hey, can you guys go drop off a couple things to some patrons who, and again, I'm not sure there's a liability issue that I'm not thinking about.
Yeah,
But wouldn't it?
probably
But
more to it than
yeah,
that, but yeah.
But you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, is there? I keep going back to this initial idea at one of the first meetings we had, where we talked about we're at this kind of this hub here of the town. We're right across the street from the senior center,
Mhm.
and I would love to figure out how can we get all that experience and wisdom from the seniors to be brought to the youth of this town, right? Like, how do we kind of do that mashup? So anyway, again, this is a really bad idea, but there's something to the community factor that I think would be really cool and it's driven by the innovation that you guys are already doing, right? Like it's already like these are really
Right.
good ideas in the programming, and
Right.
how do we kind of get more people involved? And I don't know the answer. I'm just
I,
saying.
I
it
think
was inspiring.
you're right in that, your point of, uh, every group kind of views the library in a certain way. And the seniors have always come and picked out a book, and that's wonderful. And they go to a book group and that kind of thing, but and then we have teens that do a different thing, and you know, everyone just views it from their age group or their circle. And it is kind of a challenge to try to expand. Well, you like coming to this book group, but did you also know we have, you know, cupcake decorating, or we have this other things, you know, that might interest you as well.
Conversely,
That's where our pavilion comes.
well,
Yeah.
conversely, do you get people who come in for sundaes and donuts and cupcakes who take advantage of the resources that are here, the books and that sort of thing, or they just come in for the food?
I mean, I did notice when I was writing this, it is definitely food heavy, and that maybe just the time of year. I think the challenge, we've tried to do things like, so for the cupcake thing, put out a display of the cookbooks that we have, you know, to sort of take the next step of, don't just come in to do this one-off program. You know, get used to the idea of, oh, well, maybe, you know, you like to decorate this, maybe here's a cooking book or some dessert thing or something else. So, you know, definitely trying to get tie-ins of, you know, you're of course welcome to come get a donut, but then maybe take it to the next step, the next level of other things that you could do. Yeah, and even, you know, the passport thing of, you know, we do have books, and now we're gonna consider giving this, you know, getting this language learning program.
I've seen online that there are libraries who do check out a person.
Yeah, I think
Like,
Steve had talked about that, yeah.
I think it's like.
Yeah, I think it was
facilitating
Duxbury that
conversation.
did that, yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting, I don't
yes.
know how it would go over,
We have to get enough patrons on, you know.
yeah.
You know.
So I was just
Good for
reading today, this is
experience.
a little bit different, but some libraries are doing something called a repair cafe, and it's the idea of, we're such a throwaway society, but maybe there's things that could be repaired and given new life. And so you have, I just read today, so I don't know exactly the details, but I asked for more information. You'd have people who have, you know, some skills, you know, there's a lot of seniors that, you know, can do that kind of thing. And then people, you'd have like maybe Saturdays, you know, or once a month or something, people would bring in their item that is broken, and they collaborate and fix it and repair it and have it, put it back into use. I thought, well, that's really kind of an interesting idea that would kind of check a lot of boxes for different things. And so,
We saw a very successful fair in New York on the Hudson River during Earth Day that was doing that, and people were lined up, and they had people that were had
Yeah.
seamstress skills. They had people who were electronic skills.
exactly.
Each had a little table,
Yep.
and it was really impressive.
Yeah, well, even our tech help hours that we have are popular, and it's a wide variety of things that people need help with. Some of it's, you know, simple, how do I log into Libby or that kind of thing. Some is a little more challenging, but there's definitely a need for that kind of, you know, it's kind of an expert or someone just has some kind of skills, hands-on skills with you know, people don't really know how to do a lot of that kind of thing anymore. So,
I wonder
It's
for a repair cafe, if you could have something on the website that, you know, people could go to, you know, to match people up.
yeah, that might
Then you
work.
could put in what your issue, what your
Yeah,
item is to match up this, you know.
yeah. Yeah,
It's a lot of solicitation.
I know, and maybe
You know,
it's something that
yeah.
we collaborate with the senior center, you know,
Right,
because those are
that's
people that are retirees, they might have more time, you know, and
They also have a bigger space.
and they have a bigger space, yeah, yeah,
Guy here and the.
yeah, you could have
Carpenter
tables,
guy
yeah,
there and
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Well, if you had a portal for, you know, they can
Yeah.
schedule their own, you know.
That-
on a
yeah,
one-
yeah.
on a One-off, you know, per.
Yeah, I just
repair
thought it was
basis
kind of
rather
an
than
interesting
like a
idea
monthly.
of
Yeah.
ways to kind of get the community involved and match up people with different things. Kristen had an idea at their last department head meeting, or programming meeting, and she had seen these little picture frames with easels, and she was going to try to do a sort of an all ages kind of thing where people come and pick up the frames and they can paint it, or they can glue things on, or they do something real as creative as they want to, of any age. It could be young, could be teens or seniors, and then we would display them sort of like the books in bloom sort of thing, and kind of just to get people to come in and try something different and be creative, and it wouldn't be expensive, and it would just be sort of a fun idea. So we're trying to think of those kinds of,
I bet it's all ages.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And one of the friends, as Lanier was saying the other day, that there's some things that we're doing that sound really fun, that are like, Allison did terrariums, make your own terrarium the other day. And she's like, well, I want to make a terrarium. It's not fair that it's only for teens.
Yeah.
And so, we talk, well, all right, well, maybe we'll do that program again and offer it to anyone, or 18 plus, or whatever it is that we want to do. So, it's interesting.
So I'm gonna just share one random thought, because somebody mentioned it to me yesterday, but their kids are doing, some school is doing a throwback to the 1980s, and being a kid in the 1980s, of being a teenager or a tween in the 80s. So what that challenge would mean would be that you have to watch a program that starts on the hour. You can only watch it once a week, or like whatever, or you do.
Oh, that's
You have to
amazing.
answer. You have to speak on your. You can use your cell phone, but you have to only use it in the kitchen, or like the thing that you have a radius that's like
That's
radius.
great.
Is it,
That's great.
anyway, it was just
Yeah.
the kind of thing of like appreciating, because and my kids, and this is only because I have to constantly tell my kids that, I'm a Gen Xer, and I can withstand being bored for a bit of time, or I can challenge myself to not be bored, and it's like, it's really crazy how these kids need devices, or they need all these different creature comforts we have now. And I don't know, it was kind of a cool thing about like, how can we throw back to a different, and I'm just using the 80s as an example, but wouldn't it be cool
Yeah.
to
There are a lot
have
of
these
things like that.
appreciated-
Yeah.
You could put a dial phone in front of a kid and they wouldn't even know how to place the phone call.
Yeah.
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 But I even got myself the other day, I was looking at a book and I went like this.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had told me, like, she reads ebooks and, she doesn't know a word, she was doing that on a print book.
Oh, that's funny. That's
I
really
just
funny.
the other day, I was trying to make it bigger.
Make it-
I was like, oh, that's-
That's
Like
funny.
traveling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
planning all the places you're gonna stay without an internet.
Any of
Right.
Yeah.
You can fax your
Yeah.
request to the bed and breakfast.
Yeah. And maps, and
On the phone.
foldable maps.
Oh my
My car had so many
Yeah,
maps all stuffed in the. Yeah.
Like, I was really
I know, yeah,
if I don't have that thing talking in the
Yeah.
constantly.
yeah, you can't do it, I know,
Yeah,
it's
I
really,
like spatial.
that's a great idea, I love that, I love that.
It's fun. Everyone bring in your old Walkmans and things like that.
Yeah.
I have one. They do it.
Yeah.
You do too?
Yeah,
It's fun.
oh, that's great, yeah, that's a really good idea, I love that. And then, well, the only other thing I did remember what the last question I had was, and I'm not really sure who is the person to answer this. Can we remove the thermometer from the front lobby? Because it's, kids keep running into it and it's a little bit tippy and we're concerned it's gonna tip over. And I don't think now,
Go to the
I think we,
I mean, the idea was for any town department who wanted to use it again, so.
oh,
I
okay,
don't know where that
Okay.
needs to be stored, but that was the idea.
because it's generic, it just says help us reach our goal, it doesn't say anything about.
I just put brick on top now.
Our new goal. We're pivoting.
Made it white.
That'd be great, yeah, because the staff is just
Get that
concerned
out of
about
there.
that. The kids have been using it,
And then we can get
for a
rid of
height,
it.
they measure their height. They think it's a, yeah, yeah, so we're gonna put one, something like that in the children's room now where kids can measure their height. They love it. They absolutely love it. It's so funny. Yeah, so, but not the tippy thermometer. So, I'll have them put it in the basement and when whoever else needs it can have it. If they need it.
But it also reminds everybody. That's important. Exactly.
But it's missing, you're missing the bench too, and people like, you know.
Yeah, so Montana's moving to New York City and she's ending the program. And they were using the bags to make benches. They were, if you've got, I don't know how many pounds, you can make a plastic, a bench. And I think they made a few with that program. It was really popular. But she won't be managing it anymore. It was the students were, they didn't do a great job, but they were supposed to come and empty it regularly and they weren't that great at it, but they did. We'd have to call them or email them and they would empty it. So I don't know where people put their plastic bags in, but
Stop and shop.
just Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It does make you use it less if you try to.
But they turn up, you know, even when you bring your bags, they just.
They still do, yeah, yeah, so.
Unless you have a dog.
Yeah, unless you have a
That's
dog.
true, yeah.
Yeah, yes, good point, good
All
point.
right.
So that's all I have. Yep,
Thank you
unless
very
anyone
much,
has any questions.
Norman. So we're on the bills next.
Do you want to
have
present anything? You put it together, so.
Spent some money. I don't know, the only thing I suppose that I could think of off the top of my head to mention was that we started using the money from the endowment. Yes, the other fund was, we finished it out. So
I was just asking, because I was wondering, there was one charge in there that I couldn't figure out what it was. It was about $1,000 and it was a Visco. Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
That's EBSCO, yeah.
I just didn't recognize it.
Yeah, there's
I just
there's
didn't know.
When to Work is in technology, that's our scheduling software, that's an annual fee. The other one that's made out to Megan is because she paid for the library Zoom account that we use for our programming. I don't remember, I don't think there was anything,
Yeah, there
yeah,
was
the
nothing.
EBSCO was the big renewal, the magazine renewal. I don't think there was anything else that was like unusual that we don't normally. So we're getting to the end of the year. It looks like we're gonna have enough money to last. I think with the budget's in pretty good shape. So,
Good job.
thank you. It's hard because in May and June, we end up getting some large bills and things like our staff copier. The town is supposed to enter those charges and they haven't entered anything in months. So I think what's gonna happen in June is gonna be a big hit. It's $200 and maybe $50 a month. And they haven't
Maybe it'll
entered
take us a
anything.
while to pay.
Maybe it will take us a while to pay.
What's going on with the gift account?
I was just
And that thing from
asking,
October, because it's, that's.
It keeps, well, so we've had,
What's that? Do we know exactly?
so the number that I have on, or now Angela has on the spreadsheet is how much we have in the gift account. We've had 2 town accountants since then, and I think this one is actually leaving. And the one we have now came from the private sector, and she's really just doing the accounting. Chris Senior is now the financial officer because she didn't have enough experience doing that. So they called in Don Piat, who was, I don't know, maybe a couple of town accountants ago, to come in and do an audit. And he reached out to Megan, this was a few months ago, and said, oh, your gift account balance is wrong. I'm going to change it. And he put in something like $68,000.
what? Like,
Yeah, like
Wow.
wildly wrong. And I don't know, I don't have the number in front of me, but it should be in the 20s something, it has gone up because we're getting money from the passports and things like that, and we do get gifts, but there's no way that's correct. And so I have reached out to the different accountants and they haven't been able to sort it out. They don't know where that number came from or what's going on.
Has anyone seen Mr. Bates versus the post office on PBS?
I haven't, no, but that's supposed to be good, yeah.
About people fooling around with the accounts. The
Yeah,
government.
so, I mean, the number is there and it says that we have it, but we don't have it. I know we don't have it. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have,
The
but
number is the 28 or whatever.
We kept
exactly,
the, yeah.
exactly,
you know.
yeah. So, that's why I haven't been,
We'd have to do with that.
no, I haven't been too worried, and we haven't,
Not the 28.
unless we spent it, you know, and that's
Yeah,
what,
and-
and it's important because we're talking about this, you know, the pavilion thing, how much is the, you know, library gonna put in?
Right.
I don't wanna use that higher number, thinking that we really have it, and then, you know, find out later that we don't, so. Yeah, well, you said we had it, so, I mean, again, I didn't talk to Don, so I don't know where he thinks that money came from. Unless there was something that hadn't been credited that we should have, you
what
know?
it is? It's the CLT payments from from 05 that we.
I actually thought about that, Carolyn, when Megan said that, I was like, that's interesting.
It's about.
Yeah,
right
it's
amount of
about the
money.
right amount of money.
Oh my
And this
God.
time it's in our favor rather than the other way, so I don't know, and I know I
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
I need to really sit down with someone and find out, but I, you know. It's frustrating and it's just concerning to me about, well, if that's the, you know, what other things in other departments are, you know.
Is it worth writing a letter? Just saying humorously that, you know, I'm pleased that we've got that, but just so that you're on record, but you can do it nicely. And
Yeah, yeah. I gotta talk to Megan and see if she has anything in writing from Don. I thought he called her, but maybe he emailed her, and then that would be really helpful because
Be hard.
it would be hard for them, yeah, so, I don't have the answer. And now I think we may be getting another new accountant, and so it's gonna all start over again. And we're, you know, that's not a huge priority because it is a surplus, so they have far bigger
As you
fish to
say,
fry.
we sort of need to know.
We do need to know, yeah,
Brilliant,
yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting, and I don't
could
know.
hurt us because someone, the new account could say, well, they've already got the 68,000. So
I think that's, and I was actually talking to Megan about that the other day. We do have a lot of money. We also have things that we want to spend it on, but she was suggesting that we come up with kind of a quick wish list of some things. If they say, you look like you have a lot of money, we can say, well, we need to do the children's room carpet, we need to do all these other projects that we've been putting off because we haven't had money. So that they don't have the opportunity to say, well, we're not going to give you as much for something, or we're not going to pay for your computers because you have the money. So I think it's good strategy to think about some kind of things that we would like to do going forward. So yeah, exactly. I have plenty of ideas, some big, some small, and there's things that need to be fixed that we could have the money for, which would be
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't want to pay for that. Yeah, so anyway,
Any
it's a
other
good problem.
questions on the bills or we?
I'll move to sign.
Second.
Okay, Terry
Yes.
on the bills.
Yes.
To approve.
Yes.
Express love. Yeah. Mary Lou Lawrence, Catherine Harvey, yes, Brooke Joel.
I have a pen.
Carolyn Coffey,
I
yeah.
think there's, Brooke
Yeah,
could
there's-
Steve
maybe
Brown.
reach one.
yes,
How do you vote on the
No,
bills?
there's a pen that we just need.
Yes, okay.
yes, Tony.
You said
Okay,
yes.
so, my report, I don't really have anything other than CLT and friends, I don't have anything for myself, because this is all we've done is billing switches.
It's
Which is a lot, but I
It
think
is.
we're pretty much up to date, you know, getting the extra money from Music Circus and the CPC. So I think our shortfall now is at 89, is that right?
Yeah.
Anticipated, we don't know yet, I mean, the main thing is that it's going back out to bid in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so. And, it is, I think, gonna be will be excuse me.
So once again, get me the names and email addresses of any masons or contractors that you think might be able to, and or interested in looking at this.
So we're hoping to that by, promoting it more, and we went through a lengthy analysis on whether we were going to have different pieces of it broken out, so that if we had to make adjustments to the project in order to suit the budget, but it had to be prioritized, we had to know in order which items might be sacrificial and what our order of priorities was for that, which I think we came to a good resolution on that. So that if we should have to cut some things, obviously landscaping is gonna be first to go. Because that can be added later, and then we thought maybe one of the three wall, or the
Half wall.
pergola was
No,
next.
the half wall.
Half wall was next and then pergola last. So, but we're hopeful that that won't be necessary. So, but maybe by having more, if we get more bidders, then it might be a little bit more of a competitive process and perhaps better.
I just realized that I didn't, sorry. I think we didn't.
Well, we can
the
see.
owl,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he can't see you.
Oh, he can't see us.
You can't really see.
Because the
it.
owl's not
It's
really
not good.
functioning.
Oh, yeah, it's not moving around.
I forgot to click that one thing. Oh,
So that's
Really?
basically, so we'll find out, I think the bids are gonna be due in mid-June, is that right? Early June, mid-June, it's going out,
The bids will be due 3 weeks after it gets posted.
right,
So Chris and John haven't yet spoken, but they have agreed to do so tomorrow.
okay,
And Chris will need to turn the designs around. If he can get them by next Wednesday, it can be posted Thursday.
oh, okay,
So,
good, so.
if it's 2 weeks, it'll be, but he said there's plenty of time because we're looking at an August 15th targeted start date, because we have to wait for a rec to be done there, summer. As a brick to be replaced.
Right.
Yeah.
Contractors and Mason might be interested.
There are a couple that we know of, but the bigger the party, the, yeah. But there are a couple, Michelle, the procurement officer, is excited because she's actually had a couple people asking her.
Oh.
So that hopefully means that the economy isn't quite, that the market isn't quite as bubbly, and that maybe they're looking for work.
So fingers crossed, so, we won't know yet at the next meeting, but we'll be maybe close to finding out, where the bids are coming in. So that pretty much covers CLT. The Friends met last week. I was not there, but judging from the minutes, the appeal is at 39,544 for the year, which is an increase year over year of $2,495. The handwritten secondary campaign to the handwritten notes that was sort of secondary to the appeal yielded $5,300 this year, which is again was huge. So I'm guessing that's gonna be an annual ritual now, because 2 years in a row, it's been better than $5,000. Basic books year to date is $1,842. Which is just really amazing to me, because that used to be like an $800 a year. The book sale, but even the book sale now is doing better than it was before we started doing the basic books, because I think the inventory gets switched out, Barbara's very dedicated about going in and pulling out the best titles out of the Dropbox, yeah. And improving the inventory in the in-house sale, and then the
Wait,
last
you said it's 1,800 year to date, is that from January or from July?
2 quarters, so no, I think is it, when's their fiscal year?
October 1st, I think is.
I think that's
yeah.
right, October,
Oh,
yeah, so this quarters 1 and 2 for them fiscal year. And then the only other timely note is that they're gonna do another raffle for the summer, 2 bags this time, one for adults, one for kids, which I think that's what they did in December, yeah. So they're gonna do one for summer, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, raffle tickets. Or whatever, electronic, and for the raffle, that's what I meant.
Did that do the band books?
The band books is gonna be done in the fall.
Oh, okay.
So still be thinking about there was a big write-up on the chocolate war as in the New York Times. I don't know if you saw that. I thought of you when I read it. this week, and I thought that might be an interesting title to add. It was all about the author, and it was one of the, it had a ton of heat on it in the 70s, and it's sort of a YA title, but I feel like maybe I read it in middle school or in high school. I don't recall now. I want to read it again, but that might be one to think about.
So are they gonna be looking for donations of those books or?
Well, they're assembling the bag, and so
Okay.
my thinking was that if the trustees as a group contributed one or two titles,
I
that would
think
be a
the
nice
friends,
gesture for us
all
to
the
participate.
friends are gonna pick a title and each are gonna donate a book.
Okay.
And so they'll, I'm sure, take other donations, but I think that was the plan.
That's
And they've got
Yeah,
they've got a T-shirt that says "I'm with the band," and they have a mug that's something about band books. And so it'll be a few things. I think they're just doing one bag. They're not doing a children's, they're just doing it. But they might put in, I think, the Goosebumps, Captain Underpants
Oh,
has been
yeah,
on those.
that's
I agree,
great.
that's really interesting. I don't understand the
yeah,
reasoning behind that, but yeah.
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
possible. No, like it.
Yeah, I guess not. But anyway, that was the
So
plan.
that's about it from the friends. So, anybody have any?
The only other thing, do we wanna, change the date of our next meeting so that you can be there?
That's up to you guys.
Well, it depends on the bills.
We can just have Catherine sign the bills and submit it and then have everyone approve it at the meeting. I don't want to disrupt everyone's plans, but that's, I don't
You know, we've changed it, it's not a problem to change it.
I don't have a calendar in front of me, but, I'm
You said it was
back on
the
the,
12th and that you're.
I'm
away.
back on the 15th. So could be the next.
You know, my in-laws were taking my daughter to music class, and my father-in-law is a director at Waltham Public Library.
Oh, really? Oh,
For
fantastic.
years, but he was asking if we meet in the summer, because when he met with his trustees, they didn't meet in the summer. Well, how did you do that? Like, you have to sign for the bills, and stuff
Yeah.
to talk about. I said, oh, just one person like signs, and so that's it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, I know the
Say
friends don't
anything
meet. Yeah, I know.
controversial, but meeting with you guys, I just wasn't sure if that is, if you like, you take
Yeah.
a month off, is that a big deal?
Well, I just signed them all through COVID
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you know,
don't
that's
know who voted
something you
for that
guys
or
all need,
something, but-
you need to, you know, it would be nice to take the summer off. I'd love it, but, I'm here anyway, so it's fine, but, we have a mechanism to pay the bills, so that's not an issue. We have a mechanism to pay the bills, whether the group meets or not. But,
We might need, to do our clerk and chair next meeting. too.
Yeah, I think that's
The election, I don't know when the election is, whether.
the
it's
election,
before or
I think
it's in
is
June.
before that. I wanna say the
Who's up
first
for,
week of June.
who's up for the election?
Brooke and Megan Fritzy and I are, I wanna say it's the 8th, June 8th, that's the Saturday, the 8th.
town meeting is the
Town
3rd.
meeting is the 3rd.
I'm sorry, it's got like 4 calls for tonight. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sure everybody.
I think it's a wrap.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Well, okay,
yeah.
Is anybody else running?
So are we?
No, I don't think so. I think the three of us got our papers in, and I think that was it. So.
Can I bring up one issue? May I bring up one issue?
Next month, or are we milling a change?
We, the 19th, I mean, I'm available on the 19th if we want to move it by a week.
Oh, that's Juneteenth.
It is.
Oh, you closed?
Oh, we're closed.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We can just keep the same date.
Yeah.
Just one, you know.
Yeah.
No,
that's
that
fine.
we'll just say
I'll do a report,
And we'll have
and
a party.
Angela will be, you
Yeah,
know, you guys have
she's
a lot
not
of
here.
fun.
We're having a party.
I mean, Angela can set things up and do the, yeah. Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, should we move to adjourn?
Can I bring up one issue?
Oh,
Wait,
wait,
Steve is something. I wish you could hear him better. Go ahead, Steve.
I was thinking about your comment, Bronwyn, about the excitement in the staff and all the new things that are happening. And then I was thinking about Alex's comment I was thinking about having a competition to name the pavilion. That might be a wonderful way to involve more of the community. And the problem with naming it for an individual is that, in a few years, nobody will remember Russ and or ask questions about who was Russ.
That's a reason memorialize his name.
Could we use something like the Cultural Innovation Pavilion, or some crazy idea like that, or even better, have a townwide naming opportunity? Just a thought on the name of the pavilion.
I'm open to it. I think it's a little ways before let's get it.
We'll have some time to
Start.
start.
We'll have some time to think about it. Yeah.
I only bring it up because it was in the minutes of last meeting, and
Yep.
I thought it would be useful for us to think about other ways of dealing with it if they liked it.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good idea, Steve.
Great.
Thank you.
I watched this.
Okay, all right, anything else, or are we good to? It's okay?
Yeah, and it's not enough. I thought it was done wrong.
We did.
Yeah, should I need to renew that, it's already made, I suppose, right?
Yes, second.
All right, all in favor?
Yeah,
Aye.
I talked to
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
you.
Carmen, thanks, Angela.
Okay, Angela, so what I remember now, we have to, let me stop the recording.